And we are back, and we just finished watching 2021's Coda, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 51 minutes. This movie is one of the contenders for an Academy Award, and I've got to say, rightly so. I'm going to come out right out of the gate and say this is a near perfect film for me watching experience. I'm going to give this a 9. Wow. Wow, I haven't liked a movie. Well, I mean, let's back it up because I did like Fresh a lot, and I was talking about it the other day. But this
different kind of movie.
This is a different kind of movie. It was lovely. It was beautiful. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It just spoke to me on so many levels. The human condition, the human experience, being a daughter. I don't know what it's like to be the daughter of deaf parents. But I really related to the main female character, Ruby, amazingly played by Emilia Jones, who also has a lovely, lovely singing voice.
Is that really her singing?
I think so. I mean, I didn't really deep dive on this film. I probably should have done that before we started recording. But I think that's her singing. I mean, if it's not,
they did a great job.
Yeah, because it looks like it's her singing.
It looks like her, and if it's whoever's voice that is, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's in the IMDb trivia. It says Emilia Jones spent 9 months learning American Sign Language, having singing lessons, and learning how to operate a fish trawler, whatever that is. That is a commitment. This young woman did an amazing job. I mean, to me, she was Ruby.
Yeah.
She embodied that character. I couldn't even tell where real life began and make-believe started. She was fantastic. Well, everybody in this film is fantastic, but she truly, truly shines.
Yeah. I mean,
this is definitely her film, but...
Yeah, and the character is so interesting and
well-written.
Well-written, and the life that she's having to lead... basically being the only hearing person in her family, and they are very dependent upon her for their business. They're fishermen,
for everything. There was that story when the boy came to her house and he was like, "Oh, I saw you when we were like 8 years old at this place, and you were like ordering beers for your parents."
Yeah,
it was just that was the thing I was going to say, that I don't know what it's like to be the daughter of deaf parents, but as the daughter of immigrant parents, I had to translate. I had to go to every doctor's appointment. I had to be at every meeting and just be the translator. And that is exhausting. When she said that, I felt that. I was like, girl, preach. This movie, hats off to Siân Heder, who is the director, who's also a screenwriter for this. Just, goddamn, so well done. It's so funny. Whenever I see something I really like, I'm like, gee, I want to watch that again. And it's no different here. I think this movie, just on all cylinders, it's such a lovely kind of slice of life story about this young woman who's just trying to make her way in the world, who was that linchpin in the family, but is also trying to navigate her own way in the world and
find something for herself
and finding
it and pursuing it, even though it could possibly, it takes her away from her family.
Right.
Her family, they're trying to survive. They're getting just railroaded by the people that they have to sell fish to, and they sort of feel like outsiders in their own town.
Right.
They don't really trust any of the people that could hear, and they're not really making any sort of like effort to, I guess, be part of that community. The son seems to be more of
willing to take that risk,
yeah. Even though it sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes it does.
Sometimes
Gertie.
It does. Yes.
But but the mother and father just, they weren't too into it. But then like events transpire where it's sort of like they have to. And part of that is also Ruby wanting to have her own life, and no parent wants to hold their child back.
Right. Although,
and for them, it's even stranger because she wants to pursue something that they could never really be a part of.
Yeah.
Because they have no idea what music even sounds like.
Right.
The father gets a rough idea, but he plays like music very loud so that he could feel the bass.
It was so funny. He likes gangster rap because of the bass.
But even like that concert when they were all sitting there, and then they finally put it in the perspective of the dad, and it's just silent.
Yeah.
It's just completely silent, and he only gets it. He only finally gets it when he sees the reaction of the audience and the emotions that his daughter singing is eliciting from these people.
Yeah.
You know, tears and happiness, and it's a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
And I mean, as much as we've been talking about the main actress, I gotta give hats off to the dad. I've never seen him
Kotsur.
in anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's deaf. I think all three of them are deaf in real life. Yeah, and
he was brilliant. I
really liked the brother too.
The brother was great.
Yeah, Matlin was great.
Matlin was great, but the father, like his face, he had such an expressive face.
Yeah,
and you could see everything. They couldn't have picked a better guy to play that part.
He might be an actor. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen him.
If he's not an actor, he's a natural. He was outstanding.
He really was. Yeah. I hope he gets. Actually, he's got a couple of things on his IMDb page. So yeah, I guess this isn't his first time at the rodeo, but yeah, just really well done. Yeah, he had such a lovely face. It was like, it wasn't movie star handsome. It was just well lived in. Good life.
He looked like he was a guy who worked a fishing boat all his life and didn't really have it easy, but took it in stride. And he had you could see like a twinkle in his eye as far as like
when he had being mischievous,
just a wicked sense of humor. Seriously,
the fart joke.
Yeah, the fart joke. Just a great character, a great portrayal.
Really well done. Really well done. Really well written.
Yeah. I love that whole family.
Yeah.
You know? And there were times when you thought the mother was a little bit off, you know, like a bit self-centered.
Yeah.
But then they have that scene with her and the daughter where things get explained and things get spoken, and it makes sense. And it's just something that you'll never understand because some people will, but they will. The situation and the relationship, it gets really explored in that moment, and understanding is found. And that was another thing that was great about this movie. Just everybody had like a moment together. It was just great.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Yeah. Whether it was the father, the mother, the brother, Leo, also fantastically played by Daniel Durant, who played Leo Rossi. Really good. Really, just the scene where he basically says to her, you have to leave. Gertie, her best friend, was like, you're such an amazing singer. You have to go, and you can't be held back here. Why?
And you could see that it pains him because, like he says, he's like, I'm the older brother.
Right.
And I'm the one who's supposed to be doing all this stuff. I'm the one who's supposed to be taking care of the business and all of this.
Right.
And he knows that he can't do the things that she can.
But he makes a great point. He says, I'm going to paraphrase it because I'm sure I'm not going to remember it, even though we just watched it, but I have the worst memory, where he says, so we're deaf. We just have to make them learn to deal with us, kind of. Remember?
That calls back to the whole idea that he was more willing to go out into the town. He wasn't.
Unlike the mother.
The mother was just like, oh, the hearing women, they make me uncomfortable or whatever.
Right, hearing bitches.
He was willing to go out. He wasn't afraid. He knew, even though like I just said, even though he knew that he couldn't do the things that Ruby could as far as communicating with everybody else goes, he was determined and he was going to get it done. They communication would be had.
Yeah.
Those people were going to have to meet him halfway, and he was going to make sure that happened.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Really good, strong characters.
Yeah.
Really well done. Really well inhabited by all the actors. All the actors in this film. I also love the music teacher.
Oh, yes.
He was fantastic. Bernardo Villalobos, who was played by Eugenio Derbez, who was in that Overboard remake with Anna Faris.
Oh, where the man is the rape.
Exactly. But his character in here, I mean, he was fine there, but his character here was just one for the books. Get you a teacher like Mr. Villalobos. He was amazing.
You're Spanish.
I know. I'm like, I'm
saying that name.
I don't know. I'm shaking. I'm like,
Villalobos.
Villalobos.
I'm saying it better. Villalobos. Bernardo Villalobos.
Bernardo Villalobos. This movie was something. I can't even put it into words. I feel changed by the experience. I know that sounds hokey, but I'm just like, this was something special.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far for me, but I really liked it.
I feel like I want to learn sign language so I can communicate with people that can't hear.
I find it amazing that she's just been doing that for
however long.
They said how long she took to audition, because she
8 or
was
9
just
months.
like
she was
busting it
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. That's a commitment, and kudos to the actress for doing that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, people are young; they can handle it. When you're old dogs like you and me, that's different, right?
Yeah.
But this really touched me. I feel like, wow, this is just. I want to see more movies like this. And it's funny, we saw it, but we never talked about Sound of Metal.
Yeah.
Which also was such a spectacular movie about hearing impaired people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I like this better though.
Yeah, I mean, this one was more relatable, I guess.
It was more relatable. Sound of Metal was like
a little depressing.
A little depressing, and it was hard to like the main character a bit. Because he was so...
he really resisted
becoming driven, and he really did not want to be in the situation
that he was in.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he learns to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's just so... I mean, I like them both. I don't even think I like one more than the other. I mean, this one is more relatable. It spoke more to me, being a daughter and understanding that situation that Ruby was in, and just the whole family dynamics. I mean, I think we have a pretty chill family experience here with our kids. So, I mean, we weren't like that, but we weren't getting caught bumping uglies or anything like that. But
that discussion. Oh my god! Just the signing that he was doing to
convey that
message. Seriously, very graphic as far as just the way he's moving his hands and the movement he was doing. I didn't need subtitles. I know exactly what the hell that guy was saying.
Question for you. What's cringier, that scene or Maybe's mom going to the convenience store with the drawings?
Oh, God. Yeah, they're both
Aaron's
pretty bad.
being cringy.
Yeah, they're both pretty bad, but I think this one was worse.
Yes. I can see that.
And the funny thing about it was they knew what they were doing. They had a big laugh after that. Yeah.
Which I loved. I mean, they were the kind of people I want to live next door to those two.
Yeah.
They're such clowns. I loved it. I did in the beginning, well, not in the beginning, but at some point in the movie, towards the beginning of the movie, I turned to you and I was like, ooh, I don't like Marlee Matlin.
There was the one scene where she's so dismissive of the singing
of Ruby's.
Ruby's, and like she makes it all about her.
Yeah,
She's like, if I was blind, would you want to be a painter?
Yeah.
And it seriously, like, it had nothing to do with her.
Right.
But yeah, that was.
And she really didn't. The mother really. It's funny because as a parent, you always try to cultivate these things in your children. There was that scene where the boy comes over. Was it the boy or was it the friend? I can't remember. Where she said, I think it was the boy, and she was like, he was like, oh, does this thing work, the record player? Because it looked like 1,000 years old, and she was like, it makes everything sound like trash. We got that at like a Goodwill for like $2, and my mother was like, oh, it's such a waste of money.
Such a waste of money, yeah.
So it wasn't like she was even cultivating anything other. And I felt like, I mean, this is why I didn't like her in the beginning. I mean, after, I agree with you, after that scene where she kind of comes with the dress as a peace offering, I kind of turned around. But up until that point, I really felt like she was almost deliberately holding Ruby back.
I think a part of it, and like it does get sort of expanded upon in their discussion, the hearing world meant nothing to her. It really meant nothing to her, and she did not like. She didn't care about that. She like the fact that her daughter could hear. It was like a nice to have, but it really didn't mean anything. Like music meant nothing.
Right. Because even at the concert, she's like, "Oh, what do you want for dinner?"
Yeah.
She's not even paying attention to her daughter. I mean, she was. She's like, "Oh, what was the weird?" I was like, I thought there was a weird comment. She's like, "Oh, the dress looks great on her. It matches the curtains." I was like, "What? Who even says that?"
Well, I mean, her life is entirely visual based. It's
right.
Sound means nothing. So this whole experience, is completely alien to her.
Yeah.
You can sort of understand it in that respect. She wasn't really being that empathetic to her daughter and her daughter's wants and desires as far as, being a singer.
Right, right.
That's like kind of the tragedy of it, is that their daughter had this amazing talent and they could never enjoy or never partake in it.
Although I felt like, I'm sure I'm not the only one, I had a better relationship with my father, and I feel like Ruby also had a better relationship with her father. And that scene after the concert where he really wants to understand this, so he's like, "Can you sing it to me?" Right? Yeah. And she starts singing to him, and he wraps his fingers like around her throat, I guess, to hear the vibrations of her singing. Right?
Yeah, he touches like the sides of her neck,
and like
that's really the only way he could experience it,
right? Just the vibrations. But then when she does the audition for the school and she sees them, and it's almost like she has her own little cheerleading squad, right? And then she starts singing and she's looking at them, and then she starts signing, and it like you see her in the beginning, because like the first time she sang, she's not even looking up, she's looking down.
Yeah.
She completely has no self-confidence, just nothing. And even the teacher kind of was like, "Oh, I made a mistake here. Can we start from the top?" And he's like giving her the eye like, "Girl, I just bought you some time. You better get your shit together." And then like the family comes in, and then she sees them, and that's her support system, right? That is her family. That she's like, she said to the teacher when the teacher was mad at her, like, "You've disrespected me. You've disrespected my time. Why am I wasting time with you?" And she basically says, "I've never done anything without my family."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that scene also just, I felt that. I felt every piece of that. Yeah, this was so lovely. So lovely. And it wasn't like crazy special effects. It wasn't car chases.
Not at all. In fact, if there was one minor gripe I could have with the film, it was the actual filming of it wasn't that pretty.
No, they could have done. Yeah, there was that one scene where I think after her mother like kind of screwed her over about the TV interview spot where she goes to see the teacher and he's at the piano. She's standing in the doorway and he's playing, and all of a sudden, like, the focus goes to her, right? And you see this a lot in films where, like, the focus pull is focused on one character, so the other one looks kind of blurry. In this, it was so jarring, I think, because the music teacher was in the front, so he's just completely out of focus, and the focus is back here. And it, like, because it's such a smaller percentage on the actual frame, it just looks so bizarre to me. And I was like, it's 2021, people. Like, we haven't figured out. I'm 22. Well, this movie came out in 2021. We haven't figured out a way to frame the shot so that nothing is blurry, or as least amount of possible is blurry.
That might have been a choice, but I'm just talking about, like, especially in towards the beginning of the film, there was, I wouldn't say it was blurry, but I would say it was a little fuzzier than I'd expect from a major motion picture.
Yeah. Come on, Apple, you have money.
That was probably the only gripe I had, and it was so minor. Like, the rest. I mean, it
didn't take away from the story.
It didn't take away from.
I was heavily invested in this film from, like, the start to the very, very end. I can't say enough good stuff about it. It was really good, and it was very creepy to hear the end of Hereditary song again.
Oh, it's Hereditary or Midsommar?
No, it's Hereditary.
Oh, yeah.
They really should do a Coda and Hereditary mashup. Yeah. That would be funny. I would love to see it. Internet, please get on that.
There's, like, the teacher's playing the song on the piano, and suddenly he just stops, and he's like, "I'll be right back." And he just goes in the next room, and they're just, like, chanting, "Help, I'm on." He's like, "Would you be quiet? It's an important audition next door."
Why'd you make him sound like it's something like Triumph? I mean,
what? It didn't sound like Triumph.
What's your number?
I'd give this like an 8.5 or a 9 too.
Yeah,
this was really good. This was like a touching movie with a great story.
Yeah,
and like I said, the performances, especially Ruby and her dad.
Yeah.
But everybody was top notch.
Everybody did
a great job.
Even the stupid boy that she liked with the stupid hair and the stupid face.
I mean, he was in there, but he wasn't, a major character. But he nailed his parts. The teacher, everybody was great.
Gertie, the friend.
Gertie. She had maybe like 6 minutes of screen time, but
she made the most of it.
Made the most of it.
And you liked her.
She had. For 6 minutes, she had personality.
Yeah,
that's always
the big mark.
That's always a plus and a absolute mark of good writing.
Yeah,
when you could make a character
who has less than 10 minutes of screen time,
has such little screen time, and you still are like,
I'm rooting for you, Gertie.
I like that character.
Yeah.
I know about this character. This character's personality has popped through.
Yeah,
and you got that on just about everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody was great. I really like this movie.
Yeah, Siân Heder, please make more movies.
Yes.
We're definitely gonna go see all of them now.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see this, you have to get on Apple TV. Unfortunately, hopefully this will be for rent in other places, but for right now, I think it's still only on Apple TV.
Yeah, it was like produced by Apple.
Yeah, it's an Apple original movie. Look at Apple getting into the Oscar race.
Yeah,
good for them.
They all won it.
Amazing. I mean, I'm so impressed by this. So impressed. Again, we always talk about it, the power of good stories and the power of good storytellers. This movie, top to bottom, again, chef's kiss to writer, director Siân Heder in the month of Women's History. This was just a great piece of storytelling, of cinema, of representation of people who live this life, who are deaf, the children of deaf parents. Everything about this was just lovely and just amazing. I can't say enough about it. Please, I'm not a big fan of Apple, but I guess get their TV so you can watch the lovely and amazing Coda. It's out now. go see it. And that's it from us. And we will bid you all a good night.
Good night.